If you have enough money, you can buy almost anything. A private island in the Caribbean, easy. A doomsday bunker in New Zealand, done. You can even legally purchase a plot of land on the moon or even Mars. But there's still one place on Earth, a landmass that's larger than the United States and Europe combined, where your money is completely worthless. Antarctica. It is the only continent with zero private property. No landlords, no mortgages, no Zillow listings. If you try to build a house there today, you wouldn't just be evicted, you'd theoretically be creating an international diplomatic incident. But this creates a paradox. If you can't buy it, then who actually owns it? Well, the answer is a bit of a mess of history, greed, and a ticking clock. To understand why you can't live there, you have to look at the pizza map. Officially, 7 countries claim they own parts of Antarctica. They sliced the continent into wedges, with all the tips meeting at the South Pole. It started back in 1908 with the British Empire. They simply drew a line in the snow and said, "This is ours." Why? Well, mostly for whaling rights and bragging rights. Norway claimed this massive chunk here, Queen Maud Land, specifically to tax whaling ships operating in the Southern Ocean. Australia claimed nearly 42% of the continent, simply because it was south of them. If you look at a map, it looks greedy, but they claim it's geographical destiny. But then we have the problem child, the Antarctic Peninsula. This is the warmest, most accessible part of the climate. Both Argentina and Chile claim their territory extends down into the ice, but the UK also claims the spot. This means one specific spot of ice is claimed by 3 different nations simultaneously. If you build a shed here, who are you going to be paying taxes to? By the 1940s, this overlap was getting dangerous. The world was at war, and Antarctica was becoming a strategic location. In 1913, Nazi Germany sent a secret expedition. They dropped metal swastikas from airplanes to claim a region they named New Swabia. They didn't set up a base, they literally just littered metal darts onto the snow to say, "We were here." Now, after World War II, the US and Soviet Union started getting nervous. They didn't want the other side having nuclear silos in the ice. The isolation of Antarctica made it the perfect hiding spot for weapons of mass destruction, and the tension was building. So, in 1959, 12 nations did something unprecedented. They signed the Antarctic Treaty. This treaty is the reason you can't actually buy land, specifically Article 4. It didn't cancel the old claims, but it froze them. Think of it like a legal pause. While the treaty is active, no new claims can be made, and no old claims can be expanded. It turned the entire continent into a scientific preserve. And you can visit, you can build a research station, you can take a cruise there, but you cannot own the title deed. But the US and Russia put in a secret clause. They reserved a basis of claim. Basically, it means, we don't own it now, but we reserve the right to own everything later. Now, this obviously creates a bizarre legal gray zone. If nobody owns the land, then what laws really apply? Now, let's say you're at a research station and you murder someone. Who arrests you? The answer is, complicated. In 2000, Rodney Marks, an astrophysicist at the South Pole, died suddenly. It was later found to be methanol poisoning. Because he was at an American base, but was an Australian citizen, in New Zealand claimed territory, the investigation was a jurisdictional nightmare. Now, generally, you are subject to the laws of your own country or the country running the base. But on open ice, it's kind of like the Wild West. Now, you might be thinking, is there any land that nobody claimed? Now, yes, this is the largest unclaimed territory on Earth. It's called Byrd Land. It's so remote that when the pie was sliced up, nobody wanted this piece. But it's bigger than Egypt. Now, this brings us to Travis McHenry. In 2001, he realized this loophole, and he founded the Grand Duchy of Westarctica. He sent letters to world governments declaring himself as the ruler. He even minted coins. Did it work? Well, unfortunately not. The letters were ignored. Well, why? Because of the effective occupation rule. In international law, you can't just say you own land. You need to occupy it. You need a population, an administration, and typically guns. Nobody lives in Byrd Land because it is hell on earth. Without a permanent settlement, your claim is just really a role-playing game. But actual governments are playing the long game. they're using science as a loophole for occupation. Let's look at the map of research stations. They aren't placed randomly. They're placed strategically near resources or choke points. China has built 5 bases in record time. Some are in the Australian claim sector, and obviously this is making Australia a bit nervous. Now why? Well, because we know what's under the ice. Massive deposits of coal, iron, uranium, and potentially vast oil reserves. Right now, the Madrid Protocol bans all mining, but that protocol comes up for review in 2048. So 2048 is the magic number. If the world is energy starved, do you really think those nations will agree to keep the ice pristine? Or will they use their research stations as pre-positioned mining outposts? Some futurists predict that by the 2050s we might see the first actual company towns in Antarctica. Now if that happens, the treaty dissolves. The claims unfreeze, and suddenly, well, you can buy the land. Imagine real estate listings for Vincent Massive few condos. It sounds dystopian, but for resource companies it is a business plan. But for now, Antarctica remains a unique anomaly. It is the only place where the human impulse to own has been held back by a piece of paper. It is a testament to cooperation, but also a fragile one. The paper only holds as long as the ice does. Living there is also a logistical nightmare that makes ownership pointless. Everything must be imported. A single apple could cost the equivalent of $50 in logistics to get to the pole. Now, you don't own the land. Really, the weather is what's owning you. You are at the mercy of the rough environment. So, if you are a billionaire looking for a place to park your wealth, I'd probably look elsewhere. Antarctica, in its current state, belongs to everyone, and therefore it belongs to no one. It is a global commons, a shared inheritance, at least for another 20 years. So the next time you look at a world map and see that white strip at the bottom, don't think of it as empty space. Think of it as the world's largest pending transaction.